Welcome to the Explainer. Today we are popping the hood on the absolute beast that is the Rage 9 engine. If you've been obsessing over how the next generation of open-world gaming is actually going to look, feel, and play, specifically in the sun-drenched state of Leonida, you are in exactly the right place. We're talking hyper-realistic, cutting-edge graphics. Picture neon-lit Vice City nights, dynamic volumetric clouds rolling in, and incredibly detailed character models with natural cloth and hair physics. We're about to meticulously break down the patented AI, the new structural paradigms, and the actually technological blueprints powering this massive digital leap. Let's get right into it. Now, the developers' stated objective for this project? It's beautifully, almost hilariously understated. Let's do our best. But as we're going to see when we translate doing our best into the actual US patents and Take-Two engine specs, what they really mean is completely redefining interactive digital worlds. Seriously, they aren't just tweaking a few rendering pipelines here, they are literally decoupling core gameplay systems from those pipelines to bypass current hardware constraints altogether. It's wild. To really wrap our heads around this leap, we're going to follow a 5-part blueprint today. We'll start with the Rage 9 engine evolution, then look at advanced AI and dynamic locomotion, move into procedural enterable interiors, check out realistic inventory and dual protagonists, and finally dive into the roleplay ecosystem. All right, part 1, the Rage 9 engine evolution, harnessing unprecedented processing power. So, to actually handle all that crazy processing power, the Rage 9 engine is heavily optimizing multi-threaded parallel execution. Basically, it's distributing some incredibly intense calculations across independent CPU cores. This solves a massive engineering headache. How do you balance real-time, heavy physical simulations with gorgeous, high-fidelity lighting without literally melting the system? Well, because current console chips have strict limits, Rage 9 has to be incredibly smart about where it spends its processing budget. It uses this brilliant hybrid ray tracing system to save on memory bandwidth. So for huge bodies of water, it'll use hybrid screen space reflections. But get up close, it seamlessly switches to localized ray trace global illumination. Just imagine light physically refracting through the liquid in your glass, dynamic colors scattering off a piece of jewelry, or even realistic light diffusion through the tiny threads of a towel. They've even got dynamic reflection mapping baked in. That means if your character pulls out a smartphone, the screen on that phone will actually reflect the surrounding structural shadows in real time. Mind-blowing, right? But it doesn't stop at lighting. The Rage Technology Group has completely overhauled their computational fluid dynamics, and for a setting based on Florida, water and weather are absolutely everything. Instead of just painting fake looping waves like the old days, the engine uses complex matrix and quaternion mathematics to physically simulate water displacement in real time. If you're zooming by on a high-speed watercraft, it physically displaces the water, generating real wakes that will actually rock the boats nearby. But here is where it gets absolutely crazy, the weather system. Storm winds will physically alter coastal swells. We're talking gentle tides transforming into dangerous, choppy waves. The engine can literally simulate hurricane-force winds that disrupt navigation and dynamically force the NPCs on the beach to actively sprint for shelter. Moving right along to part 2, advanced AI and dynamic locomotion, we are redefining digital movement. So let's see how characters actually move within those massive storms we just talked about. Because, it's one thing to have a great-looking hurricane, right? It's a totally different ballgame to have the characters inside it actually behave like real human beings. According to a very specific Take-Two patent we dug up, animations are now going to blend dynamically. Instead of triggering a single canned "I'm tired" animation, characters will react in real time to fatigue, injuries, and the weather, all at the exact same time. Think about it. If it's pouring rain and your character is completely exhausted, their posture will naturally degrade, and you'll actually see them physically adjusting their footing to handle the slick, wet pavement. This is a total paradigm shift for the industry. The old way relied heavily on static, pre-baked animations, which honestly made NPCs look like rigid little puppets for the last 20 years. The new way? It uses this massive library of small, modular animation building blocks combined with inverse kinematics. So if a character gets injured, they don't just abruptly switch to a looping limp clip. The engine literally computes the physical trauma into every single step. Skeletons will dynamically adjust their joint angles and center of balance for slick mud, or brace themselves against those heavy winds we mentioned. It's going to make this digital world feel stunningly alive and grounded. Which brings us to part 3, procedural enterable interiors, building a limitless dynamic world. We are now looking at a feature players have been begging for years. How do you render countless enterable buildings without completely frying the system's memory? Handcrafting every single interior in a city this massive is frankly impossible. But looking at patent US 109875887B2, they are utilizing a genius step-by-step metadata tagging system to pull it off. Basically, artists design modular assets, things like couches, TVs, or piles of trash, and they tag them with descriptors like worn out, cheap, or high-end. The game engine then takes a basic floor plan and procedurally populates it based on strict relationship rules. A rule might be something simple like a lamp can go on a table but definitely not on a chair. This brilliant system allows the engine to procedurally generate, say, a pristine, high-end luxury apartment and then turn around and generate a filthy, worn-down laundromat using the exact same base logic and floor plan. It ensures a massive percentage of the city can actually be enterable and no two rooms will ever feel like copy-paste of each other. Okay, part 4. Realistic inventory and dual protagonists. Let's talk tactical gameplay and relationship dynamics. Here, we're diving straight into the core gameplay loop, a heavily Bonnie and Clyde-inspired partnership between our dual protagonists, Jason and Lucia. And guys, this isn't just a fun narrative choice. It fundamentally alters the moment-to-moment mechanics of the game. While they obviously operate cooperatively in missions and free roam, they are mechanically differentiated by unique physical metrics and combat proficiencies. Based on community analysis, Jason leans into his heavier build and likely ex-military background. That means he'll offer better physical stamina and specialized gun mechanics. Lucia, on the other hand, has a smaller build, so she's expected to have much faster traversal speeds and really excel in stealth or close-quarters melee situations. So you aren't just magically swapping skins out there. You are tactically choosing who is literally built best for the job at hand. Add to that, we are seeing a massive shift toward a much more grounded, tactical inventory system, heavily inspired by Red Dead Redemption 2. The days of casually pulling a rocket launcher out of your back pocket? Yeah, those are seemingly over. You're going to have limited on-person weapon slots now, maybe a sidearm, a compact weapon, and just one visible long gun. And here's the kicker. If you are openly carrying an assault rifle down the neon-lit streets of Vice City, that advanced AI we talked about kicks in hard. NPCs will literally flee in terror, pull out their smartphones to film you, or immediately call the cops. To manage your gear, your vehicle's trunk actually acts as your mobile stash. A tiny sports car is obviously going to hold a lot less than a heavy utility van. And for the big heists, you'll be dynamically carrying duffel bags to expand your loot capacity, which is completely going to change how you have to plan and execute robberies. It's so much more tactical now. Finally, we arrive at part 5, the roleplay ecosystem, the community-driven future. I really think this represents an absolutely incredible corporate U-turn, and it might just be the most consequential business decision Take-Two and Rockstar have made in the last 10 years. Just look at this timeline. Back in 2015, Rockstar was aggressively battling the FiveM modding community. They were banning creators, shutting things down, even reportedly sending private investigators to modders' homes. They viewed it as a huge, unauthorized threat. But over time, the explosive popularity of GTA roleplay servers, where players are out there working 9-to-5 digital jobs, acting as court lawyers, or running illicit underground raves, it just became impossible to ignore. So by 2022, they softened their policies. Then, in 2023, boom, Rockstar officially acquires the team behind FiveM. And now, the insanely popular NoPixel team is officially collaborating with them to create NoPixel V directly on the Rockstar Games launcher. They have literally integrated the modern community directly into their official ecosystem, pretty much securing the longevity of the game's multiplayer future. So considering all these massive technological leaps, the Rage 9 engine's hybrid ray tracing, the inverse kinematics simulating real-time trauma, those procedural interiors guaranteeing endless exploration, and of course, this official embrace of the massive roleplay community, you really have to ask yourself, what happens after this? How will this technical blueprint permanently alter the landscape of the entire next decade of gaming? If they actually pull off everything detailed in these patents and leaks, we aren't just looking at a new game, we are looking at a completely new reality. The real question is, once we step into a digital simulation this convincing, are we ever going to want to log out?